InDesign is a layout program. It's more similar to Quark or PageMaker if you've used any of those in the past. InDesign puts together images and text to create print-ready files that can be color separated and or transported to any commercial printer to be printed professionally. And isn't that what we're all trying to do? A layout program like InDesign combines word processing programs with artistic programs into simple file formats that yield smaller file sizes. We have multi-page features in InDesign. This is great for books and pamphlets, brochures, reports, magazines. My background is mostly in magazines. So I would use InDesign on a daily basis. We have text formatting and editing capabilities, unlike any other Adobe program. Let's see, we have maximum control over our text as it flows through our multi-page document. We can connect it to the page before or the page after or 3 pages later. We can connect our text and control the flow of our text. We can crop, scale, rotate photos and illustrations within the frames that we are using to hold that image on the page. We can package up and prepare our files for professional printing very easily in InDesign. And I've noticed that Illustrator and Photoshop are now offering a package feature just like InDesign has. InDesign is basically the glue that holds all your stuff together. It holds those layouts together, and it's the final step before you print. So we're going to take a look at the InDesign interface. And interface just simply means the layout of the program and the way in which a human can communicate with or interact with InDesign, with any program. You'll see that all the Adobe programs are very similar in their welcome screen. So it's welcoming me. I'm logged in. It knows who I am. Up in the left-hand corner, we have the symbol telling us what program we're in. You would be surprised at how helpful this is because Illustrator, Photoshop, Acrobat, they're all set up exactly the same way. And so that little ID, that little periodic symbol, is the only thing telling me I'm in InDesign right now. Everything else is going to be very similar. Home just means this little welcome screen. Learn will take you to tutorials. We're not going to go there right now. I recommend exploring that on a rainy weekend. There's lots of stuff in there. They're real short and concise. I'm going back to home. Then I have 2 buttons, Create New and Open. Open will allow you to open something you've recently done, and you can see my screen down here is showing me recent files. So I looked at one of the files we're using today already. There's our syllabus, there's my notes. It's all good. It's all there. It's kind of weird showing everybody my home screen. It's kind of like opening up my sock drawer, letting everybody see what's in there, but it's all good. So to get to inside the program to look a little bit closer at the interface, we actually have to create a document or open something. So I'm just going to hit the Create New button, and we'll just quickly make a new button or a new document, and then we'll come back to creating a new document a little bit later this evening. So let's hit Create New. We get the new document window, and this is pretty much the same in all the programs as well. Across the top, they want you to indicate the end use of your document. What are you intending to do with this document when it's all said and done? For us and for our classes here at Madison College, we're always going to hit the Print button. Print sets us up in the correct color mode and resolution for a professionally printed piece. So we want to designate our intent with our document right at the beginning. You cannot change resolution in an InDesign document after you've made the document. So you want to get that right from the start. Okay, on the right there's a column of choices, and I need to close mine up because you guys are probably not seeing all that. On the right there's a little bit of information there. I'm gonna just kind of ignore it. Size, pages, start, columns, margins, and bleed. We're going to come back to all of that later this evening. We're just going to go ahead and hit create, and we'll know that we're in the right color mode and resolution. Okay. All right. So this is the Essentials workspace. This is probably what you're each seeing, unless you've played with InDesign a little bit. This is very basic, and it's the same way that the other programs are set up too. Photoshop was the originator of a properties panel, and it's still very useful in Photoshop. They put a properties panel in InDesign and Illustrator, and then probably 2 versions ago of CC software. Taking it from Photoshop, it's for beginners. It's for learning easily. Making it easier for you to pick up on what you're doing. I call it the training wheels. So we're in class together. We're gonna get through this together. So we're gonna take the training wheels off like immediately, just so that we can really look at the interface, and so that we have all the same panels and all the same tools available to us as we're working. Okay, so we will be changing that very quickly here. I just want to go across the top for the application bar. It says what application you're in right here, Adobe InDesign 2021. There's a little house button which takes you back to the welcome screen, but then there's a little arrow next to the ID, so I could go back to my document. So if you need to go back and make another document, you can certainly do that. All the way over to the right, we have a light bulb that is little tutorials for you to learn. There's a share button, which we probably won't get to until intermediate, but it's a quick way to share your layout with another party without having to go to another program or to email. You could just send it out however you see fit. To the right of that is the thing I want to get to. It says Essentials. Now the other programs have a little symbol here for workspace. InDesign has not adapted that little symbol yet. It just says something right away. This is your workspace. This is your designated workspace. Essentials gives us the essential tools on the left, an application bar at the top, and the properties panel on the right. And that is it. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that's not enough. We're going to change our workspace immediately. The main reason I'm doing this is because the control panel that goes across the top is Command Central in InDesign, and it is not here when you're in Essentials. So we're going to click on that downward facing arrow, and we're going to go to Advanced. Look at that, you've already graduated. It's your first night, and you've already graduated to Advanced. And I'm going to have to reset mine because I keep changing it. Amanda's laughing. Thank you. Okay. So Advanced is where we're going, and it should look a little more like this. Okay. There's now this new kind of big thing across the top of the screen right below the application bar, and that is our control panel. The control panel changes according to what tool you have selected or what item you have selected. So I have a regular selection tool active, so I get object controls available to me. If I were to click on, say, the T, which is the type tool, I then get a different control panel. I get text formatting options available in the control panel for myself. I'll go back to the regular selection tool, which is that black arrow at the top. So that's the first and most prominent thing I want you to notice. Very essential for us in InDesign. In no other Adobe program is the control panel more essential than in InDesign. Okay, let's see. We will have little tabbed documents here. When we have multiple documents open, there'll be little tabs here. I think that's pretty similar on any operating system that is the case, and then you could click between those. I want to go all the way over to the right here, back to this little column of panels that you see. We are going to use our space a little more efficiently. These are collapsed panels, which means you click on them, they pop out for you to work with, and then you click on them again and they go away. That's fine if you have a little laptop screen and you're trying to conserve space, that's fine. But while we're learning, it'd be great if we could have those panels all open, expanded, and at our fingertips whenever we need to use them. So the way to do that is right at the top of that panel column, go way over to the right here till you see a double-headed arrow. It says expand panels. Go ahead, click on that, and it gives you a column of panels. They are expanded so that you can see a little bit of each of those panels. Okay, doesn't want to be nice to me. Okay. These are things we're going to be using. I want them to be available. Pages, layers, links, these are all essential. Down below that, we have swatches, we have stroke, and we have gradient. In that same set is the CC libraries. I'm going to show you how to remove a panel and close it and make your own custom workspace. So you are completely able to use CC libraries. You put something in here from InDesign, you open up Photoshop and open the CC library there, and whatever you put in there from InDesign is going to show up in Photoshop as well. So you could certainly use that. For our purposes of class, we don't do that because you don't have your own account through us. So what I'm going to do is I clicked on the tab to bring it forward. I'm going to click and hold it down and drag it to the middle of my screen. And it's going to get in our way a lot, so I'm going to go ahead and close it. There's a little X. It might be on the left, it might be on the right, depends on your computer platform. I'm just going to close it. I don't need it. It doesn't need to be here. I'm going to go back to that set and bring swatches forward. That's the one we're going to be using the most often. And that is pretty much how the panels work. So that column will remain that height. As you're clicking on the little tabs in the groups, different panels and different options will come forward. The Pages panel is super awesome. If Microsoft Word ever got a Pages panel, I might consider trying them again, but I'm really not inclined. I'm too used to InDesign. The Pages panel, we'll be focusing on that a lot next week. We'll also be looking at master pages next week right away, and then we'll get into some type formatting. So that'll be pretty cool. We just hit the ground running and keep going. Swatches is how we apply color, and I'll talk a little bit about stroke and fill probably as we're learning other things tonight, maybe when we get to shape tools, I will talk about the stroke and fill setup that is in the swatches panel. But this is where you make, save, and apply all colors and gradients. Paragraph and character styles are saved formatting that's been applied to your type. You can use it over and over again, and you can even load it into other InDesign documents and use it again in other InDesign documents. It works very, very well. And they are a super big time saver for sure. Over on the left, where we have the column of tools, you are welcome to leave yours in a single column. There's really not a lot of added value to making it a two-column toolbar, but it's what I know, so I end up using it. At the top of that tool column, there's a double-headed arrow again. I'm going to click that, and it's going to give me a two-column toolbar. There are not a whole lot of tools in InDesign, and you know what? The ones that are here, we hardly use any of them. We have same tools available in the control panel across the top. So we don't really use all of them. We use a few of them. Okay. The added value for using the using the two-column toolbar is I have an extra button at the bottom of the bar that will take me to none, or preview as it's called, so you see only what's going to print. And then the first button on the left is normal view, so I can see all my guidelines, all my text frames, all the information I need to make my layout is visible. But when I want to see what it's going to look like when it prints out, I can click on that preview button. That's about the biggest, advantage to having the two-column, and it's just what my brain goes back to. Let's add a couple more panels here on the left or right, and then let's save our workspace. So here's what I would like you to do. In the pull-down menus across the top, look for the word window. All the Adobe programs have this window pull-down menu. Window houses all of the panels that are available in the program. In InDesign, there are a lot, but they are within other little pop-out menus. So there's some color, there's some object and layout. That's one that I want to look at. I'm going to go to align, and I get all three. And I don't want to put them in the same column. I want to put them in a second column. All the Adobe programs work this way. I'm going to take the bar that's at the top and click and drag it over to the left of the panels till I see the blue drop zone. When you see that blue zone, let go, and it adds that set of panels to a second column, which we are not going to keep expanded. We're going to make this one collapsed, but just so you could see that it's there. So it adds a second column, and you could do a third and a fourth, and whatever you want to do, you can certainly have as many as you want. What we'll do is we will not have this expanded. We'll collapse it. So look right above transform, and on the right edge there's a double-headed arrow, collapsed icons. We can get it down even more. If you hover on the left with your cursor, you could drag with the double-headed arrow over, and you just get icons. And here we can just pop these out when we need them. We don't always need them available. We're going to add a couple more, and then we'll be done. Okay. Window. We're going to go to, let me think here, a text wrap. That one's all by itself. Window text wrap. And I'll bring that up, and I'm going to grab the bar, not the tab name, but the bar at the top, and I'm going to drag it and hold it below the transform panel, the align panel, all of those. So I get a smaller drop zone, but it's going to put it in that same second column. And I will have you go through window anyway, but it's nice to have those things there ready to go. I'll put the glyphs panel in there. I've got a whole bunch of workspaces already, but let's look at how to save that now. Saving a workspace can be done in either of two places. We could go to the Advanced tab in the application bar and say New Workspace, or we can go to the Window menu, and there's a pop-up menu for Workspace there. It's the exact same thing, the exact same menu. It's just another place to find it. So I have so many here. I mean, I already have Intro to InDesign at MC, but you know what? I'm going to go through it with you here. New Workspace from the pop-out menu. Give it a name. Let's see. This is Summer MC 21 Workspace. There's a lot of advantages to having your own workspace. Let me click OK. All right, now let's say I go in here and I'm working really hard and I'm messing things up here. Maybe I closed a panel I need. Maybe I just made a mess out of everything. And it's time to clean up my room, or I just need things to go back to being organized. All I have to do is go to the Workspace drop-down menu or under Window Workspace and say Reset Summer MC21 Workspace. And it puts everything back where it was when you saved. Okay, so that's really ideal, especially if you share a computer with somebody, or if you know you're going to get a little bit messy while you're working. You can always clean back up and go back to the saved workspace.